I had the privilege of talking with all 4 astronauts today: Mission Commander Reid Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and Mission Specialist Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen. First of all, it's incredible to meet you. I feel like I'm sure everybody feels like they know you because we all watched you so closely. Congratulations. Reid, you'd said it's hard to grasp what you all went through on the mission, and obviously it's been a whirlwind ever since. Have you had time, have all of you had time to kind of just decompress and think about it?
We've definitely taken some time. We've taken some time by ourselves. We've taken some time with our families. But it's a process, and it's going to continue to take more time. Like the outpouring of support from around the world and the amount of thanks we have to give back to the agencies that made this possible, it's going to take time.
I want to show some of the amazing images that you've captured. Reid, on your phone, you did the Earth setting behind the moon. And I love that this was just like you with your iPhone, I assume, or whatever the mobile device.
I found myself without a job as Earth was disappearing behind the moon, and Christina and Victor were both doing scientific imagery at this point in time, and Jeremy and I were sort of free float, and I went up to our little tiny docking hatch window, it's no bigger than that, Anderson, and I couldn't really even get my eye up there, but I could get the camera of the phone up there. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, I have got to hit record.
So what is that? That's Earth's setting behind the moon.
As we call it, that is tiny Earth, and it is beautiful, and it is setting behind the far side of the moon.
You described it as like watching a sunset at the beach from the most foreign seat in the cosmos.
I mean, I tried hard to give that description. It's about the best I can come up with.
Did you ever get used to the images you were seeing outside?
We never did.
No.
We never did. You know, the Earth got smaller and the moon got bigger, but more importantly, the moon would shift in terms of what we could see on it. And one of the first things that we noticed that we knew we were in for a treat was about the 3rd day. We had a view of the moon and it looked almost right, but it wasn't the moon we had seen our entire lives. We were starting to see the far side, and it just got more and more amazing. Seeing the Earth and the moon in the same picture, you just realize how vibrant it is and what an oasis it is. And then, honestly, missing the moon as we left. These beautiful views.
Yes.
As happy as we were to be returning home, there was a part of us that was left there, I would say, because of what we got to see.
I just want to play the video when you returned. There's this great video. It's released later, so maybe a lot of people didn't see. Navy divers opening up the hatch. You can just feel the excitement. Their excitement, your excitement. Some of the astronauts who we had on were talking about sometimes when they had returned from space and the doors opened, some of the crew who first opened the door were like, ooh, it's kind of a little ripe smell. How did it smell in there?
Well, you have to ask them, but I imagine after 10 days without a shower, we were a lot more excited than they were.
It was one of the first questions we asked them. They said it smelled okay.
They say that to everyone, I think, because there's no way it did.
Michael Collins, during the Apollo 11 mission, second person ever to orbit the moon alone, wrote about the experience. He said, "I am alone now, truly alone and absolutely isolated from any known life. I am it." Obviously, you were all together, but can you just talk a little bit about the moment you lose communications with mission control, you lose sight of Earth, and you're taking in this part of the moon that, as you said, many have never seen before?
Yeah, you know, actually, we all read Carrying the Fire by Michael Collins before the mission, and it just puts that into perspective after being there and having the 4 of them. At that moment when we lose communication with the Earth, after that Earth set, we were out of communication, and I was very glad to have 3 of my closest friends up there with me. So what Michael Collins went through is I just understand it at a deeper level now. But it also was a very busy time. This is when we would get closest to the moon, and not long after that, farthest from the Earth. And so this is when we made some of our best observations of what we were seeing up close. And so we took a minute to observe, but then we went right back to work.
Reid, I just want to play the beautiful moment that your colleagues honored your late wife, Carol, during the mission. Let's just play that.
Yeah. This is going to be hard to read.
We lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reid, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol, and you spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
I mean, it is such a beautiful moment. In a world where a lot of people don't talk about loss and don't talk about grief, it's so meaningful to have you all doing that, and in this moment where the whole world is watching. And I just thought it was really incredible.
I will tell you, Anderson, it forged the crew. Like, that moment really did forge us together in a way I don't think anything else really could have. It was a very special moment.
Yeah. I want to play something you said, Christina, after radio communication was reestablished after the spacecraft emerged.
We will explore, we will build ships, we will visit again. We will construct science outposts, we will drive rovers, we will do radio astronomy, we will found companies, we will bolster industry, we will inspire. But ultimately, we will always choose Earth, we will always choose each other.
Well,
You
you
didn't just come up with that.
I did.
Did you
because
really?
Thanks to this guy. He asked me to say the words when we came back, what we call AOS, acquisition of signal, and we had talked about when in the mission we were going to commemorate milestones. That wasn't the one I was assigned, so I was not ready, and I panic wrote it in my head as I was observing craters, the ones I was assigned to
How long
observe.
did you have to write that?
About 10 minutes.
Wow, that's
and I
good.
scribbled it on my knee board. My computer broke in space, so I carried around a paper knee board on my leg the entire time, and I scribbled it down.
And I still remember you giving that right there, and I was floating kind of behind the displays up above you, and you were down on seat 2, still looking out the window, and you were watching when we had acquisition of signal. And I could sense that.
I was terrified?
Yes.
Yes.
It was, and then as you
Correct.
started going and you were just listing off these things we were going to do, and then we will always choose each other, it was just numb.
Well, one, I'd like to apologize to the science teams because my observations of the moon in that little space of time might have been a little compromised, but I sat deeply with it for a minute, and I think this is a personal thing, what drives us to explore space. And for some, it is this idea of colonization, reaching out, and that has never struck me. For me, the reason to explore is to bring back an appreciation of what we have and to treasure this lifeboat that we all share. And I wanted to make sure somehow to convey that in the moment that we were able to see everything we've ever known again for the first time.
Yeah, well, you knocked it out of the park, out of the universe, really. Jeremy, you're the first crew to experience returning to Earth at, correct me if I'm wrong, nearly 25,000 miles per hour. So, what does it? It doesn't. Do you have a sense of how fast you are going?
You do, and as you approach Earth, before you can actually perceive the speed of the vehicle increasing because Earth is pulling you back. It is accelerating you, and by the time we hit the atmosphere, we're doing 39 times the speed of sound, and you're seeing it here. And then you see this fireball forming around you at the windows, and
do you know
get a real
how
sense
fast
of
is that per minute? I mean, do you?
Yeah,
per second.
6 miles per second.
Get out of here! Wait a minute, 6 miles per second.
yeah.
Wow. Every astronaut I've met is just extraordinary. I mean, generally, I'm not just like sucking up to you all. Every astronaut just has such interesting backgrounds and such like diversity of life experiences that they bring to it. And the fact that there is this government agency and that you do these things, it's just incredible. Like, it's really impressive. I mean, there's no question here. I'm just.
It's the honor and privilege of a lifetime. It's also the responsibility of a lifetime. And sometimes I think that, in a way, the best ambassadors of humanity are the ones who experienced it broadly. So we've all tried to pick up as many human experiences along the way and carry them forward as we can.
Anderson, can I add a facet to this, though? People read the resumes and sometimes pull off those accomplishments and think you're this walking string of successes. The thing about the folks in the astronaut, I know a guy who keeps a journal of everything he has messed up. That's an insane amount of self-awareness. And so I would say they're incredibly hardworking, but it is also one of the best teams I've ever been on. I've been in the military almost 30 years, and the astronaut office is just a unique but very diverse group of people that makes mistakes, but we also have a ton of grace and mercy in the office, and we take care of each other and we help each other get better.
I love the idea of an astronaut office. Like, you're all walking around as astronauts.
That is it. cubicles, desks.
If you'll let me just take a
Yeah.
second here, we also have to honor the team that had the courage to push the button and send us off the planet, because the safe thing for them to do, the responsible thing for them to do would have been to not launch 4 human beings who have families, who have loved ones, and not send us 250,000 miles away. But they had the courage and the trust in the machine that they built to launch us. And we've gotten to see a few of our friends this week. And it's like that, I think, when you ask how are we processing this post-flight so far, it's starting to dawn on me that we connected with the world. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. But these people had us on their shoulders, and they carried a heavy burden while we were up there, and we just have the deepest respect for that team.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we needed this as a country, as a human race, and I'm just so honored to meet you all, and thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
And we all have a responsibility to keep it going.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you.